Okay, so here's the deal. There's been, we've been dealing with ICE and the immigration issues and them rounding up undocumented people for a while now. Uh, they are essentially, they call them detention centers. They are no better than prisons. There are children in these facilities, families are torn apart, people are being deported to countries that their parents may have been from or they were born in, and they have no cultural understanding of those places. They are Americans, okay? So, I've had this in the back of my mind for a while now, but finally I thought I would just kind of break it out to just break this down to brass tacks, what are we really talking about here? And it's a person that is not a naturalized citizen, okay? So it's not just, you're undocumented, but you could be here, you could maybe be on a visa or something, but you're not a naturalized citizen. Which right now, President Trump is wanting to revoke the naturalized citizenship of babies that are born here, which is absolutely bananas. But anyway, so a couple years ago at a museum conference that I went to, I think it was in Kansas City, I'm not sure. But anyway, you sort of never know who's going to be there with a booth or whatever, and it's always really interesting to see. Usually it's social media, apps trying to sell you stuff, software for managing collections. There was one booth that was a company that made life-size mannequins for museums. It was kind of creepy, but anyway, you never really know what you're gonna get. But I came across a gentleman that had a booth that was from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, and I was like, oh my god, this is so interesting. I've obviously, as a person born here, never thought about that. And I started talking with this gentleman, and he was very nice, very interesting, very kind. And he said, I have samples of everything that you need to pass the naturalization test. And these were all packaged. I had never opened them until now, honestly. These were all the exact things, shrink wrap package, that to pass the test, this is everything you get. And so, to show you the ease of what this entails, so you get a pocket-sized, quick reference, copy of the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. So they get one of these. Probably every U.S. citizen, me, you, everybody who has a driver's license should have one of these. But you get one of these. This one is in English. I'm sure they had them in Spanish. But I just sort of took the grab bag. But anyway, he said everybody gets one of these. So, so basically everything in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, if you want to become a naturalized citizen, you need to know this. Okay? Then there's this. Learn about the United States. Quick civics lessons to the naturalization test. So this is basically your study guide. This is your study guide for the test. So you have learn about the United States, quick civic lessons. The test, it talks about the test, the government gets its power to govern from the people. That's like the first sentence. We have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Citizens of the United States shape their governing and its politics, so they must learn about important public issues and get involved in their communities. Learning about American government helps you understand your rights and responsibilities and allows you to fully participate in the American political process. The founders of this country decided the United States should be a representative democracy. They wanted a nation ruled by laws, not by men. In a representative democracy, the people choose officials to make laws and represent their views and concerns in government. The following section will help you understand the principles of American democracy, the U.S. system of government, and the important rights and responsibilities of U.S. citizenship. That is the very first thing. And then so this is like the study guide to the actual test. What is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. What does the Constitution do? Sets up the government, defines the government, protects the basic rights of Americans. And this goes on and on and on. What is the freedom of religion? How many U.S. senators are there? Who makes federal law? What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? So this is basically what everybody took in your basic high school civics class, okay? And I know people struggled with this class because it's a lot of stuff to remember. It's things that aren't easy to digest. It's out of our wheelhouse a lot of times, especially as who vetoes a bill, what are two cabinet level positions, and you have all of these choices. What's the capital of your state? What is the political party of the current president? How old do citizens have to be to vote for the president? What do we show loyalty when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? Do we show loyalty to the flag, to the United States, or to both? Or to God? Then you have going back in history to colonial America. What's the one reason colonists came to America? Freedom, political liberty, religious freedom, economic opportunity to practice their religion, escape persecution. Today, many people come to the United States for the same reasons. Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this is the actual study guide for the test. And we go even back to Native Americans. Name one Native American Indian tribe in the United States. What did Martin Luther King do? What major event happened on September 11th, 2001 in the United States? This is what the naturalization is. Name one state that borders the United States. Name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. Name two national holidays. What's the name of the national anthem? Why does the flag have 50 stars? These are the questions, okay, that people have to answer to pass the naturalization test. Okay, so then what you also get, in addition to the pocket companion Constitution and Declaration of Independence, you get civics flashcards. for the naturalization test. Okay? See this big, huge box. Very first card. Name 2 national U.S. holidays. Then there are your answers. When do we celebrate Independence Day? July 4th. Question 98. So these are the questions that are on the test. What is the name of the national anthem? Star Spangled Banner. This is the flashcards for the test. Why does the U.S. flag have 50 stars? Because there is 1 star for each state, because each star represents a state, because there are 50 states. So you've got 3 separate answers for that question. 97. Why does the flag have 13 stripes? Because there were 13 original colonies, because the stripes represent the original colonies. Question 96. Where is the Statue of Liberty? Acceptable answers: New York Harbor, Liberty Island, but also acceptable are New Jersey, near New York, and on the Hudson River. What's the capital of the United States? Washington, D.C. Name 1 state that borders Mexico. California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. These are the actual flashcards to study for all the questions on the test. Now, because most people speak Spanish that are trying to achieve this, there is a copy that you get of the exact same trivia or flashcards to pass the test that are in Spanish. Okay? So, you know, the rule of the land, the Constitution, all of this. Okay? So there's an exact copy of the 100 questions. 100 questions. I don't know how many questions my civics final was in high school, but I guarantee you it wasn't 100 questions. Okay, but so I'll just show you the last card in each. And the real, like, to me, the most disturbing card is let's just pull that one out. This is question 86. This is, I don't know why this one bothers me, but sorry. I didn't really necessarily plan this video, and why this is a question, why you should become a... Okay, so we have terrorists attack the United States. So what major event happened on September 11th, 2001 in the United States? Okay, that's the question. And then on the Spanish is the exact same question. So yeah, so they're just different Spanish and English. Okay, so so in addition to the flashcards to practice for your test, you have the vocabulary flashcards for the naturalization. And So this is supposed to help help immigrants study for the English reading and writing portion for the test. These flashcards contain all the words found in the English reading and writing portion of the naturalization test. The flashcards can be used in the classroom as an instructional tool for citizenship preparation or as a resource for self-study. The content focuses on civics and historical topics. Using a dry erase marker, there's a space on the back of each card next to the vocabulary word where students may practice writing the word in English or in their own language. Below the vocabulary word, students may practice writing a sentence with a newly learned vocabulary word. For additional practice, there are several blank cards at the back of the reading and writing section. Students may practice writing the newly learned vocabulary words into sentences on the blank card. There's also a little index card for what images are used. So reading vocabulary. All right. So you have a reading and a writing portion. So this is the reading. Number 1, Abraham Lincoln. You have a sketch of Abraham Lincoln and who I'm assuming is Todd Lincoln. Then there's your space to practice writing it in a sentence. Number 1, Abraham Lincoln. George Washington, American flag. So this is what you need to be able to read in the test. The Bill of Rights. What is the capital? What is a citizen? What is a city? What is Congress? Country? Who's the father of our country? George Washington, etc. So that's the reading vocabulary cards. Then we have the writing vocabulary cards again. For the naturalization test, each writing test administered to an applicant will contain no more than 3 sentences. An applicant must be able to write 1 out of the 3 sentences correctly in order to demonstrate an ability to write in English. To help an applicant prepare, these flashcards contain all the words found in the English writing portion of the naturalization test. The content focuses on civics and history topics, okay? So let me just say that again. An applicant must write 1 out of 3 sentences correctly in order to demonstrate an ability to write in English. Okay? Again, vocabulary summary. Now, Adams. A lot of people don't know who this guy is, unless you're a history buff. Lincoln, okay. Washington, okay. American Indians. My sense would be American Indians were screwed over, and why am I having to take this test when this population was completely exploited and moved off of their own land? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, not going to go there. Capital, citizens, Civil War. The Civil War was this crazy, crazy time where the northern part of this country and the southern part of this country absolutely hated each other, and they still kind of hate each other to this. Okay, what sentence am I going to write there? Congress, father of our country. The father of our country, George Washington, sailed across the Potomac, and what flag? America has a flag that's red, white, and blue. I don't know what these sentences, what is the meaning of free? And it has an eagle soaring as the image reference of free. Free. freedom of speech, that's kind of a funny one now. President, what sentence would I use there? Right? What are your rights? And the image for right, as in civics, would be your right to do something. They have a really happy picture of a black woman casting her ballot. Senators, states. Oh, the White House. Use that correctly in a sentence. The White House has a cage match fight. Cage being built in the front of it right now. Alaska, California, Canada, Delaware, Mexico, New York City, United States. Okay, so that's the writing portion. So basically, you would have to, voting here in, of, on, to, the, blue, first, largest, most, people, southern, white, south. These are the key words that you need to be able to write. In a sentence, which is anyway, my opinions set aside. Okay. So this, if you wanted to become a naturalized citizen, you would have to be able to have these 100 facts questions memorized. You'd have to know them. I don't know what the passing rate is. I'm assuming it would be a regular, like 70-some% or whatever, but who knows? I don't actually know that. But yeah, so you get this handy dandy copy of this. You've got the flashcards, you get them in Spanish, and you get the vocabulary cards for reading and writing. And then this is your study guide for this test. And I've studied history. I enjoy history. I have many friends that love history and are very educated. I would challenge any of us to not use the flashcards or have this pocket guide. I would challenge almost anyone to be able to pass this test first time around. And I just, I've known that I've had all this stuff for a couple years, and I just got it in my head, like, I've had enough. I'm sick of seeing this stuff on the news, and it just seems like people don't understand the very basics of what's happening and what they are expected. People that come to this country to live and support their family, make money, and contribute to their communities, what they are expected to do in order to meet the bare minimum, requirements or whatever, because people that have already been naturalized by birth and stuff are already still being put into these detention centers, and it's absolutely sickening to me. So anyway, it's a long video, but I think it was worth it, and I'm just glad that I met that gentleman from the Immigration Services at that museum conference, historical conference. And he gave me all this stuff for free. And he said, this is exactly what you get. This is exactly what you get. And like I said, I opened it, all the flashcard containers and everything was wrapped in cellophane. This is the first time I've opened any of it. So, okay.